Hey everybody, it's Miss A here. Today we're going to be working with parallel lines. So this problem says, write the equation of a line parallel to y equals 1/2 x plus 7 that contains this point 4, -3. So I'm going to highlight the important parts of this problem. We need to know that this equation needs to be parallel. We're going to use our original equation, and we are also going to use this point. So those three things are going to help us. So the first thing that we want to note is that anytime we have a parallel line, that means that my slope is going to be the same as my original equation. My slope is always this number that is paired with the x. So my slope here is a positive 1/2. That's going to come in handy. Now, we actually are not going to use this plus 7 at all in our equation. That's our old y-intercept. In order for a line to be parallel, it has to have a completely brand new y-intercept. So we are going to use point slope form to do this. So I'm going to write down just the equation, and then we're actually going to plug in some numbers from this problem. So this right here is point slope form. Okay, so that's what we're going to use. So here, y1 needs to be replaced with the y1 from my equation. That is this y value right here, -3. So y minus -3. I'm going to put that in parentheses just because I've got two negatives in a row. We'll kind of get rid of that later in a second. My m is always the slope, which I've already said is 1/2, so that goes right there. Then I do parentheses, then I do x, and then my x1, which is 4, has to go next. And that one I don't need double parentheses since it's a positive 4, but it doesn't hurt if you wanted to put those around that 4. Now I'm going to go through and simplify. So y minus -3 is actually going to switch to y plus 3, two negatives in a row, make a positive. Bring down the equal sign. This side I want to distribute. So 1/2 times x is 1/2 x, and then 1/2 times -4 is -2. Now, last thing we need to do is our equation has to be in slope-intercept form, which means this y has to be by itself. So the 3 needs to move to the other side. I'm using inverse operations. So my final equation is, let me write it over here, y equals 1/2 x, and this gives me my new y-intercept of -5. And there is my final answer.